FlossTube, this is Barb with Lost and Floss. This video is primarily about cross stitch, but today, towards the end of the video, I'll also show you some sewing projects that I've been working on lately. Some related to cross stitch, some not. Kind of jumping out of my comfort zone and trying something new. So I'll put that at the end, and I hope you enjoy seeing them. As you can see, I finally got a few pieces on my wall by my finishing table. It's basically a kitchen island that I have in my sewing room that I use for cutting out things and finishing. I love having it. I have all my supplies on a shelf. So anyways, this wall has been vacant for quite a while. And the other day I'm like, I'm just going to get a hammer, and even if things aren't exactly where I want them to be, I'm going to hang them up. This piece, I can't remember where I even got the frame. I plan to use it. Let me see. I maybe can pop this out behind. Otherwise, I'm going to mount a piece on a piece of mat board and then pop it in from the front. So for now, the bow is just a placeholder, and sooner or later, I have the piece kitted up that I want to use. I thought I would get it started last time we were at the cabin, but when I did my measuring, I found that the 36 count piece that I had would have been too big for the frame. So I came home and found a piece of 40 count that'll work perfectly. And so one of these days, my projects. Welcome to all my new viewers since the 9,000 subscriber giveaway. There's been a number of people new to the channel. So welcome, and welcome to all returning people, stitchers, I should say. Today is the 22nd of February, 2025. It's a beautiful, late winter, let's hope, day. We have snow cover, but if this keeps up, it's going to be gone soon. So I have a number of projects that I'd like to share with you. I was going to set myself some goals. I kind of fly haphazard and, like not really committing to anything, and what I feel like stitching on that day, I'll stitch on. But I felt, and I was given this advice from a few stitchers, to set myself some goals and stick to a couple projects and see how far you could get. So there was one that a couple smalls that they were Valentine stitching. So those I set the goal of getting them finished, and I achieved that. And then there were two pieces that I wanted to finish stitching all the way. And one I've made great progress on, and the other is totally stitched. So it's just ready for me to find a frame. And then the third thing was this happy morning. And on that, because there's quite a bit of fill work, I decided that I needed to finish the border and the words this time. And I achieved that like at least a week ago. So very excited on that. As I show it to you, maybe I'll set a goal for the end of March, since there's only really less than a week left in February. I don't really think I'm going to be able to finish one of the two pieces that I had really intended to. There was a lot more stitching left on it than I had thought, and also there's like some more specialty type bands in it that I think are going to take me a little bit more time. So, you got to forgive yourself and move on. You set goals to try to keep yourself on track, but sometimes life gets in the way, and that's okay. So maybe 2 videos ago, I showed what I called a 90% whip parade. And that's because I really wasn't intending to do a whip parade, but it kind of morphed into that. What wasn't present were a couple patriotic stitches that I have in progress. And so today, I'm moved on from Valentine stitching. That's done. I might pull out some spring things, haven't decided yet. But in the meantime, I pulled out a couple patriotic pieces that I have little starts on. The first one was actually one Leanne had started, and it's called The Pin Keep, Pledge Allegiance 1892. It's got quite the glare going here. Maybe it's better without. Let's turn that off. Oh, I still have a glare going. Isn't that weird? Because it's like, it's just the picture on the front, but it's a glossy picture. I can't remember. I know. Okay, here it is. This is Olive Leaf, 32 count. And basically, this is words. So I did work on it a little bit last year, but this is where we're at. So, it's really not awful to stitch on. I think maybe, let's see. Maybe I'll try to get this line that's has the needle in it, the top line, completed by next video. Now I shouldn't really make too many promises or set too many goals on this, because I don't want every project to have homework. I didn't like homework when I was a kid, and I like it even less now. Another one that I had started, hopefully it's in here somewhere, is Americana Carriage House Samplings. Do I know when I'm stitching this on? It looks like 36 count Lakeside Luna. Just kind of a goldeny yellow. I didn't iron this one either. But this one I should give a little love to. I would like to have that done by the 4th this year. It looks like enough stitching in there, so not sure if that's going to work or not. But I have a lot of threads pulled for that, so it would be to my advantage to get that done. Then I could put a lot more of those back in stash. And this one, I don't know if I even started. Originally, my thought was I was going to do them, well, I should tell you what it is. It's a whole stack. This is Stars and Stripes by Plum Street Samplers and Shakespeare Peddler. And originally I was going to do the ampersand in a different fabric. I don't think that's going to happen now. I have a piece of, oh, I did have a little start. A little piece of something. Just that tiny little start. There is a lot of stitching in these. So I don't really see these being done this year. But time will tell. Oh yeah, I still have the piece of Aztec red in here. It's tiny. So, but I mean, these are a lot of different color flosses. I thought I saw one with, oh no, that's my notes on the floss. You know, that is the problem. When you put one away for a while, you pull it out and it's like a whole new learning curve to see what's up with that. All right, so those are my 3 whips, patriotic whips that I'm going to carry over. So, Hands Across the Sea, Florence Mary Dickinson. My friend Lisa just stitched it. Hers turned out beautiful. I was kidding her yesterday, and I'm like, on Etsy, I saw someone who had like historic needlepoint or something, but she had professional pictures, and then they were framed, and I'm like, why don't I just take a picture of Lisa's finished one and put it in a frame? So she was laughing, and she said she still had her working copy that she would give me so that it would make it a little bit easier for me to stitch it. Well, okay, so it's in this little tiny book, and this is how big her working is. I won't turn it around, but I'm like, this is a godsend. I'm so grateful to have this. Because I just get lost on the page when it's like the flip book thing. I believe this is 40 count something. I don't have my sheet with me. It might be exemplar. I think it's a lakeside. But I have a nice start. And I think now that I have her working copy, it's going to make it that much easier. So this is I'm sorry I don't have the chart with me, but this is the center motif. I started in the center, and so it'll only build out from here and hopefully get easier. This is another one that I made working copies for myself, but here, I do have the booklet. I'll show you what this looks like. It really is a beautiful piece once it's done. But, yeah, I'm not good at flipping from page to page. Oh, and here is it is, yeah, it's 36 count vintage exemplar by Lakeside Linen. So stitching with all the 100.3 silks and 1/2. Then on New Year's Day, my friend Donna, she Shack Stitcher, and I both started Inspiration by Karen Rosewood Manor. This is a beast. And I did make working copies for myself, but I think I'm going to take them together. Because in my brain, it's just easier for me to do it that way. But I worked on this a little bit this month, not a heck of a lot. But I am using the DMC, and Donna converted hers to silk, so it's going to be fun to see. I'm sure hers is going to be beautiful, but DMCs are pretty too. Doesn't always have to be fancy. Oh, the sun just came out. That's kind of a nice treat. I mentioned a couple times that I need some bigger on the wall Valentine type stitching. And so I started my Dear Hearts Blackbird design this year. I love this. I wanted mine to kind of have a greenish tinge to it, and I wanted it more rustic looking. So this is 32 count corn silk, and I'm stitching 1/2 to make it more rustic. The problem was originally the white hearts did not show up at all. And so I took this to my stitch group, and Annie looked at it with me, and she's like, just make those hearts 2/2. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I want to get back to working on this. It's, you know, it'll go fast, and it's kind of mindless. Love mindless stitching once in a while. And today I stopped over at Lisa's to get the Florence Mary Dickinson working copy, and asked her about my Scarlet House Smith sampler. I wanted to stitch it on 40 count, and I didn't have the called for vintage meadow rue, so I'm using lentil. And when I saw Lisa's, I could kick myself for starting it on this fabric. I think it's going to be pretty on here, but my whites are not showing up at all. Like, there's a bird there. You can't even see there's a bird there. So I believe I have some white Tudor silk. So I'm going to try that, and hopefully that will cause it to pop. But I tried some other whites. I had vanilla pudding, and I don't know what else. And just, there's nothing that really popped very much. And I don't want it to be like, you know, ghost showing up where you have to be within an inch of it to see the motif. I've stitched many of the monthly Prairie Schoolers. I have a hanging, I guess it's maybe to put, I don't know, mail or greeneries or something in. And I have the months mounted on them. But one of the ones I'm missing is April. And I think this one is really cute. I started doing these back when I got into stitching. So I started them on 32 count ivory Lugana. And so I want them all to be relatively the same size, but I kept with it. So I worked on this a little bit more this past month, and it's looking more and more like a house. It has a roof. There was one color I was missing that I have to look for in my stash. Maybe the door color. I think that's what it is. So before I go downstairs, I hope to find that. But I doubt I'll have this done for this April, but I should for next. Plus, I really like the February one, so I'll just leave that up. Or I could, well, I mean, I guess I have March. I'll leave March up. With Thy Needle and Thread by Samplers Not Forgotten was one of my homework assignments. And I thought that possibly I could get this done this month, but there is no way. I made a mistake on the chart, and so I don't have quite the number of spools, and I'm going to come over this way and make that meet up however it does. Then I still have to do, the date is by the scissors. I think that's 1/1. And there's some wording and some bands going under the house, and then also my initials. My initials are BAW, BAW. So I don't know, like, I know sometimes people put their monogram with their last name in the middle, so maybe I'll do that, BWA. I guess usually I've seen that where the last name initial is a little bit larger, and I'm thinking maybe putting this on this wall somewhere. I think it will be pretty. And let's see. Oh, this was my main featured item I worked on this month. It is Plum Street Samplers. This Happy Morning, the vintage version. Love this piece, and I love that I'm finally closing in on a finish. So this month I assigned myself to finish the border and to do the words, and I have both done. So, like, I know I'm missing a few doodads up there. Have to look it over. But then the other thing is all the fill for this. But I think it will be possible. I know for sure I'll have it done by Christmas. Let's say that. And there were spots where I'm off, but I just made it work, and I love it so much. All right. And then one of the final things, I have a FO. It is Alphabet Blanc by Sue Hillis Designs. I think it's a lakeside color, and I use Belle Soie on it. And this too, like, had an error on it. Oh, now that I'm looking at it, does that look really off? No, not so much. It did when I was looking at it the other way. I think because this is scrunched down a little bit. I think it'll be fine. I'm just going to find some kind of white frame, I think, and call it good. This might go on the wall in here too. I don't know. It's fun, now that you have things started, it's, there's endless possibilities. Now I'm going to take this and throw it all on the floor. So I've gone to, not that I am overly organized. Oops, I got to get this out. I've gone to try and put things that I'm going to use in my videos in this wooden tub. I just feel like it's easier, and yeah. Okay, so did a little, so I was watching Lori, Once Upon a Stitch. If you haven't watched Lori, you need to, because she's such a prolific stitcher and just a delightful person. And she was gifted, I couldn't believe how many charts she showed. It just blew my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, I commented that I just love this one, and I looked online and I didn't see it. It is, I don't know how to pronounce this, Hinsight Vintage Santa's Sled. And if you watch my channel, you know I love me a vintage Santa, and especially Santa in a sled. So I got a IM from her that she was going to send me the chart. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. And it even has the little charm that goes on it. And then she included a cute little note, and she's like, no chart should go alone. So she sent this one as well. Really a cute winter scene. Has a number of, this one also has another, like, caroler and sled. Let me see if I can find the pictures rather than the charts. Da, da, da. Oh, here's the picture page. This church is pretty. There's like a number of these you could take sections of and make it into a nice little ornament or a little pin pillow. Yeah, it's funny, you know, like, I haven't seen too many bears with a snowman lately. I wonder what year this is from. It was originally $5, so you know it's from a while ago. Stony Creek. Let's see. I don't see a copyright date, which is, I would have thought here. Let's see. Oh yeah, 1984. So, thank you so much, Lori. She's just the sweetest. So, then my friend went shopping and messaged me that there was some Lakeside available. And, you know, if you find Lakeside, you buy Lakeside. So I had her get me a piece of 36 count Lakeside vintage fawn and 40 count vintage sand dune. Isn't that a pretty color? I love that. So, not sure what I'm going to put on those, but, and then I went to the quilt store and they had this fabric. And I'm like, oh, isn't that a pretty floral? So I'm kind of starting very rudimentarily to jump into making myself some project bags. So I thought this combo would be really pretty. So that will happen. Oh, I have a couple finishes I'll show you. I finished Valentine's Day Quaker by Primrose Cottage. And I stitched it in red. I think this is Cherry Cobbler. This is just a candle holder. I had the Winter Quaker in. And that one I think I did on 36 count. This one I did on 40. And I'm not sure what I like better. If I like having a little margin. So that was one of the two things that I had assigned myself. And then, let's see. I don't know if I even have, oh, here it is. This one was Plain and Fancy Collection, Wondrous Love by Sandra Sullivan. And I had this little wood frame I had showed you. And I love how this turned out. It's just very simple, but I found this heart-shaped button and it was as bright white as white can be. And so I just had a little antiquing gel that I put on it. And rather than sew it on the fabric, I sewed some thread through and I just Eileen's glued it on there. So I could get the placement I wanted and not spend a lot of time on it. But the frame was going up and down, so I had to bend the little wood stand off of it. And I just actually have this fitted in here using, I think it's medical tape, because it doesn't leave a residue. I forgot who showed that they used it, because it doesn't leave a stickiness to it, and I thought, hey, that'll work for me. So I've been having some fun doing some sewing. Not great results, but I kept seeing like the strip where you just keep adding strips, so I had some Valentine type things out, so I just made this little mat. Real quick and simple. Years ago, a friend of mine had made some bowl cozy things for us, like to put a hot bowl in. And, well, she made one. And, like, my husband and I always wanted to use it at the same time. But then it disappeared. I think it might have fallen behind the drawer, the pull-out drawer it was in. And I have like Pyrex pans in there, so to take everything out to look for it seemed like such an ordeal. So I went online and I found a website where well, actually I think it was on YouTube, but she just had a very quick video that was really easy to understand. And so I just took some scrap fabric and made 2 of these. And right away, so that now we don't have to fight over them, but right away I knew my husband would say, well, did you make some for the cabin? So I'll have to make a few more, but I wrote down like the sizes that you have to cut them. So basically you just, you know, it's 2 squares of fabric. I guess she had like coordinating fabric, but I've been really making a concerted effort to use up fabrics that I don't really care about and that will, you know, just to get it used up and out of the way. So then I started watching videos on how to make a project bag. And let me tell you, I mean, well, to begin with, it all started because I had this chunk of vinyl that I bought at Walmart that it's been folded up and in my closet. It was like, I don't know, 1.5 yards, and I got it for $1, probably 10 years ago. And so I've always thought, oh, I want to try that. But I think after working with it, I think the vinyl is too stiff, and that might be why I'm having some of my issues. But anyways, I'll show you what I made. They're all the vinyl front using, I watched a number of videos, but I used Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch video because I thought hers was really easy to follow. And it's a good size to fit a chart in like that. So anyways, these were fabrics I used for my granddaughter for a dress years ago. And I just used, I think I had used the orange, and, you know, it looks bright and crazy and whatever, but I'm like, oh, it's good enough to throw something in. It's crooked, but, and then my second one, when I was at the stitch shop, they had these cute little, these panels. This was one with a little dog dressed up like a bunny, but obviously this wasn't big enough to be the back, so I pieced some stuff on, but I don't know how I got crooked, but I got crooked. But anyways, it looks pretty good enough from the front. And I put this little carrot ribbon on. It was only one-sided, so what I did was I glued it wrong sides together and then made a little fancy trim on it and looped it through the pull. So I think that's cute enough. Then I wanted to do a Valentine's Day one because I had fabric, and like these vinyls, they're really creased. So, but I think this one turned out a little bit better as far as like spacing. I just used a regular zipper in this because I was trying to use up zippers I had. And then this is my final one. I broke my needle, or this would have been done. And this one, I don't know. It went a little wonky on the top again. I should probably pull it out, but I don't think I'm going to. But this was a really pretty print I bought at Ben Franklin before they closed. So this I'm going to finish up now. And yeah, it'll be great. So not too much going on. Yesterday, I spent the day with 2 of my sisters. We went and helped bake for the annual Czech dinner that was today. Czech as in the nationality, Czech. And so they make these things called coffins, and I don't know, my mom never made them or my grandma, but basically you have like just a little rectangular pan that's about this big and it's about this long and that wide, and you put like a, I don't know if it's like a nut dough or something, and then you have this rectangular press that has like a silicone edge on it, and you press down and that sends the dough up the sides and leaves a channel that then gets filled with, I don't know if it's like lemon custard or whatever. So last year my sisters and I had worked on them quite a bit, and like I didn't mind doing them. A lot of people hate doing them, but and my sisters didn't, they were getting more on one side than the other, and so like finally I was in charge of, oh, that's what it was. They put the dough in, I pressed it down, and then they trimmed them. I was trying to think how there were 3 steps. But anyways, this year when I walked in, right away the lady grabbed me and she's like, your sister says you were good at the coffins, so you're going to make those. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Well, then the 2 of them were over working on strudel, and this dough, like the point of it was to pull it, keep pulling it until like you could actually see like the tablecloth through, and you were supposed to end up with this rectangle. And so my sister she had made it before, they had helped before the folk fair, and so they had done it before, and I guess the ladies were calling them the Strudel sisters because they did such a good job. Well, so they start showing me how to do it, and basically you have this blob of dough, and then my sister had hers on her fist, and she's like, then you let gravity, you keep going like this and you let gravity kind of work on it. Well, mine just like, it wasn't really changing in diameter, and I'm like, basically it looked like a mushroom over my fist, and each one took like maybe 20 minutes, but theirs are looking great. Mine looks like this big mushroom. And finally, I said to them, I'm doing what you told me to. And then my sister said, well, are you stretching it? And I'm like, no, you didn't tell me to stretch it. You said let gravity work on it. And she's like, oh, I forgot that stuff. So then once I heard about gravity, it was infinitely easier, but mine ended up like being this like flat on the sides and this balled up thing on top. So I'm like, I don't think the fist technique works for me. But the next one that I did, I just kept pulling on it, and actually I think it turned out really well. I mean, it was, other than it had a little extra outcropping on it rather than being rectangular, it worked pretty good. So then those got filled with like a cheese mixture and then fruit. And then you had to take the dish towel and make one little fold, and then you had to aggressively fold it to flip it and then flip the other one back. But then the hard part was you had to get it on a baking pan from the dish towel. And my sister was like imitating Julia Child. She's like standing by the pan, and then she says, with confidence, in Julia Child's voice, and she flips it and actually did really well. Well, then she wasn't around when I was ready to flip mine. And I'm like, I've worked too hard on this to have it like go helter-skelter. So I said to my other sister, I'm like, you hold that end of the towel, I'll hold this end, and we'll kind of open it up and I'll put my hand underneath it and flip it on. And I think that technique was actually a better way to do it. It made it much easier. But anyways, today a group of us went for the lunch. Basically, roasted pork and dumplings, potatoes, sauerkraut, rye bread, Yeah, you're thinking monochromatic carb overload. Oh, and there's a sausage mix. I can't pronounce it correctly, but it's called Etanex or something like that. So you got some of that too. Or you could have the combo or whatever. And then they sold the bakery. You got like one of the coffins and a kolache, and people pronounce that differently. My grandma, my mom always said kolache, or some people say kolache. I don't know. You know, I have a lot of Czech in me, but I don't know how authentic I am. But anyways, so that was fun, and just was a nice way to spend some time with the family. A couple of my sisters and their spouses came, my sister's friend and her husband, my cousin and his wife and his son, and they get high school kids to help serve, and it's just it's a nice event. But the lady who's in charge is so funny. she's on the the microphone, and she's like, and we need people to join the group, or this won't make it till I think it's the 94th year they've had it. And she said, we're getting old. So, I think, like, even when you volunteer, they're happy to have people who are able to do things and, learn things and whatever. And we grew up, my mom baked, and so I think we're all pretty competent. And then she asked us to arrange the flowers in the vases, and she's like, do you think you can do that? And we're all like, yes. My mom was a member of many flower garden clubs, and she used to enter arrangements in the state fair. And ooh, am I getting like lost in the sun here? Hold on a second. It was cloudy out when I started. So I just had to pull the shade a little bit. So anyways, she's like, yeah, some people, they see I think she had carnations and baby breath, and she's like, they see the carnation and they have it sticking this much above the edge of the vase. So, I'd like them trimmed nicely, and so she was quite proud of us. And, it's fun, like working with a group of people, and very nice people that you meet and whatever. So it was a fun day. Have gotten a couple times walking this week with my neighbors. I went out to lunch with one of my sisters who hadn't seen since the holidays. So that was nice. We celebrated our granddaughter's 12th birthday. It blows my mind she's getting that old, and next year she'll be a teenager, but also the 12-year anniversary of the most unproductive day I ever had at work. I was so excited the day she was born, and my husband, he couldn't take off that day, and so she was born like, I don't know, very early in the morning, and so we waited till after work to go see her, and oh my gosh, it was a long day. I just remember thinking, oh, I make it through, and just everybody's coming over and congratulating you like it's your baby, and talking to people, and so I always laugh about that because it was like not my best day from a productivity standpoint, but I've just been having fun working in my sewing room. I am still like trying to get things in place. My husband, I don't know if I mentioned, but he got me hooked up with a Roku and TV, so I've been watching some tutorials and some old movies and that sort of thing. Kind of fun. And I'm going to start the walnut shell antiquing video. It might take me a couple days, because what I like to do is start and then reevaluate if it needs more or less or whatever. So it's a slow process, but it'll be fine. And yeah, so I'll try to get that out soon. I've been promising that for a long time. I need to get my taxes organized, and you know, just there's blinds I need to order for a bedroom, you know, things like that. We renewed our passports. Not that we have any big trips planned, but they were coming due this fall, and we're like, well, we'd like to get them done so that we don't have to worry about it. And my husband was afraid with the government issues and cuts and whatever that they would be a problem. And it was funny because we did it up north and did it all online, which was pretty easy. And they said 6 to 8 weeks. And by the time we came back, mine was in our held mail. It's like, ooh. But my husband's wasn't. And then he was like worried that there was some reason he wasn't going to get his. But I was kidding them. I'm like, yeah, probably somebody who thought maybe their job was going to be eliminated and just was like, I'll prove these all. But I just got I get like the mail notifications, and his is supposed to be coming in a couple days. So he was glad to hear that. But yeah, what else? Oh, market. I feel like I have an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other, and the devil keeps saying bye bye bye, and the angel's like, you have enough things, just keep working on what you've been working on and keep a steady pace. I mean, last year I managed to make it through. I don't think I bought anything, you know. And if you feel I'm not supporting the designers, obviously you don't watch my videos. I just, you know, like, I want to be mindful in my purchases and end up with things that I know I'm going to stitch for sure. And so, you know, like, there's very few things that I would drop everything else for and just stitch immediately to be the first one done with it. So I think that helps, like, kind of keep me more on the angel shoulder. But the devil shoulder, like, I'll start looking through the sites late at night, and it's like, ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, that's a good one. Very, you know, there's a lot of very talented people out there. I think it's a fun time of year. It kind of reminds me of the old days of, like, Black Friday shopping, you know, when there'd be all the sales and excitement. And yeah. now I couldn't believe it. I went to a different Costco on my way home from the baking day yesterday, and compared to my normal one, I mean, I have never seen anything like it. Like, the gas lineup wasn't too bad, although I was in the second pump back. The first person left, and this lady in this tiny car comes around me and backs in. Only, honest to God, she was like probably 6 or 8 yards away from the pump. I'm like, how is that even going to reach? And, you know, blocking the center where then you could get out. And I'm like, oh, this is, you know, because I knew I was almost done. And I thought for sure when she got out of her car, she would reevaluate and back in. I would have been embarrassed to, like, be that far away from the pump. But anyways, then she was having a little problem getting the gas pump going. Well, in the meantime, the person at the first pump was leaving and the next person was pulling up, but I just kind of hand gestured to her to please let me go through, so I didn't have to wait for this person to fill up their gas tank. But it was such a small car, probably would have taken her 5 minutes. But anyways, the lady next to me was very nice and let me go out. But then I was like going up and down the rows, like trying to find a parking spot because I wanted to run in just to get some salad. And honestly, like I haven't seen anything like that. Ours is not like that, even on a Saturday. So I don't know how many people shop there, but I will never go there again. My sister said she went with her friend one time, and her friend's like, we have to go at 7 o'clock at night because I'm not waiting in those kind of lines. But actually, like, the self-checkout was really pretty fast. Like, I only had to wait a minute, but I just couldn't believe what the parking lot looked like. And also, like, people not being mindful to pull their carts over to the side, so they're, perusing the selections, and, there's 4 people behind them wanting to get by and get on to the next thing. So I will be very happy to go back to my regular Costco next time, and think that I'm very lucky to not have to go through that on a regular basis, because I don't think I would. Or I would go at weird times, that's for sure. So I'm going to be putting away some finishing stuff I had pulled for Valentine's Day that I never used, and I'll get it out and show it again next year, I guess. But I am happy I got a couple things used up this year, so that's always good. And yeah, a couple new finishes, and I don't know why it calls me, but it does. So, not much else to talk about. Oh, as you can see from the bangs, haircut tomorrow, so maybe I'll have some good thrifting finds. I did find this one thing, and it's basically, like a silverware caddy, but the nice thing is it has a turn thing on it. So, whoa, I'll dump everything. So, yeah. FlossTuber stabbed self in eye with scissors falling from her silverware caddy. So, I can have it on my table here, and, everything that I would be using regularly is within easy reach. And I really like that. And plus, I can have it on the edge, and it doesn't really take up that much room. So that was a great find. I found a magnetic cross-stitch board that appears to never have been used. It had like the little ruler and everything still attached, and that was under $2. I found a almost full can of the spray temporary adhesive, and that stuff's like, I don't know, I think it's like $6-7. I mean, I used to try to get it with a coupon, or for those of you who say coupon, but I'm like, well, I'll pay it. It was under $1, and I'm like, I'll pay that and take a chance that maybe I can, it'll be usable, because if it is, and I think it is, I mean, the bottle didn't look old, or the can didn't look old or anything. What else? Oh, I'm going to try some non-vinyl project bags. I don't know if I showed you this, but when we were in Portugal, I, try not to buy too many souvenir things, and there's so much like pottery stuff here, and to carry the weight of that, I just didn't want to do that. I used to always get Christmas ornaments, but I'm like, you're getting old, you don't need 3,000 Christmas ornaments. So I went online and I found a fabric store, and we went down there, and I got this piece of fabric. I think it's meant for draperies, because look how wide it is. So I just got a little chunk of it. But this, you see these tiles everywhere in Portugal. And so I thought, oh, that would be kind of a nice thing to make just some, you know, top zipper project bags. And it'll be kind of fun to determine, like, you know, do I want this motif to be the central or whatever? And I think that'll be kind of a fun reminder of our wonderful vacation there. Okay, well, now I've just gotten into chit chat way too much. So I hope you enjoyed things, and I love it if you like my video, if you subscribe, and ring the bell so that you know when I have a new one coming. I will be buying the Prairie Schooler Santa, so we'll have that giveaway coming up this spring. I always like it when somebody wants to stitch with me. And yeah, I think I need to get the antiquing video made. I have a little project that's waiting to go. So I guess it's time to say goodbye, and yeah, hope you're having a great end to the winter, and please continue to fill the world with love. Toodles!